Hi, I'm Reece. I'm the music editor at the Mancunian, and we have the wonderful Alice here from Dreamwife to come chat to us about the new tour, touring the album, all sorts of stuff exciting. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hey, I'm Alice. I play guitar in Dreamwife and cannot wait to play at Gorilla on the 25th.
It's going to be absolutely amazing. So obviously this tour is coming kind of a couple of years after the release of the record due to the COVID, the pandemic, everything like that. I wanted to maybe touch on, because it's interesting to get everyone's kind of individual takes on how's that been, that kind of process of waiting. Have you got a new project maybe ready to go, but obviously you do need to tour or want to tour this record first? Where are you guys at in terms of a band at the moment?
I mean, it's like, for the majority of the pandemic, we've been writing new material, but it's kind of like, as you say, this to tour So When You're Gonna it's been like 2 years delayed. We obviously released the record just before like everything hit and lockdowns happened and stuff. So it's going to be kind of a strange one, because it's like obviously like this delay on these songs that we haven't quite played live yet, or like there's a real delay on like us sharing in these new songs with a live audience. It's going to be amazing, but it's like obviously like we've been kind of working on new material in the in between time, but just can't wait to share the tracks from So When You're Gonna with everyone live. It's gonna be weird and amazing.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see it. Is there any chance that we'll see maybe some of the material you've written in the past 2 years come out, or is this very much focused on the album this time?
Well, I have to say there will be some surprises. We really want to try and explore new material, how that is live, because with the first record, our first record, it was really important understanding songs in a live context, and they shifted and changed at the live show, and the live show informed the writing process. So there may well be some surprises this time with new material.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's kind of one of the things I wanted to touch on. You guys did release a live album on some streaming services back in 2020, and it's wonderful how the live record and the record sound so wonderful, but almost symmetric, because they're quite different in terms of tone. Wonderful. Are there any tunes from the new record that you're particularly excited to play live, or you're like, this one sounds wicked live? Or maybe, I mean, it's like
we played So When You're Gonna, the title track from the second record, live at a few festivals and stuff, and it's just absolutely kicked off. Like, it's just straight in there. Like, that one, I can't wait to just get out of the live show, and it's a real like ball of energy. But also it's like songs like Temporary, which touch on more sensitive subjects. It's like, I think and Hasta La Vista, like softer songs from the second record. I think it's interesting, the kind of contrast between the two sides of that, like the extreme and the soft. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that all works into the live set, and kind of bringing it down to just bring it up again. I think we're excited about working the new material in that way.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, is there anywhere on the tour you're particularly excited to play? I know you've got a whole host of wonderful venues coming.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like Gorilla is one of our favorite venues in the UK, probably. We played there with Sleigh Bells like a few years ago, and it's just like it's always a good vibe in Manchester. I think honestly, like live shows in Manchester, the crowd is very special, and I think we're super excited to play Gorilla. I mean, obviously also we're really excited to play Electric Ballroom in London, because it's kind of like in a way our homecoming show. It's been so long since we played in London, but I think other than that, like obviously Gorilla is a special one. Manchester's always a special show.
Yeah. It's a real joy and a privilege to be able to cover music here, because every show is so wonderful to go to. We're having a chat today, and it's International Women's Day, which is really nice for me, because I wanted to touch on the fact that the new record, So When You're Gonna, was an entirely non-male engineered project. Can you talk me through maybe some of the thought process behind that decision, and how you think it affected the record as it came through?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was something where, with the first record, I think we felt like, we worked with these two guys that it just didn't feel right. And I think it was something where kind of putting our money where our mouth is a little bit with the second record, working with Marta Sologny producing, Grace Banks engineering, Heather Kedry in New York mastering. It was like this kind of like all-star team of women. And like for us, it felt really, really important to make So When You're Gonna that way. I think because as well the sensitive topics it did touch on, I think it felt like we could really ground ourselves with the team on an emotional level in the studio. And it was a very like soft, gentle, safe space, and none of us had ever really experienced that before in a studio. And I think it felt like we kind of couldn't have made the record or that record any other way. And it just felt super important to go about it in that way with this kind of all-star team of women. I think, it was a very different experience than any of us had ever experienced in the studio before. And just generally can't really say anything bad about it. It was just like the way we had to make it, and it felt important for us to make that statement as well, like working with a team of women to deliver our baby kind of thing. Like,
and it's a super individual sound as well. It has worked wonderfully. The whole record itself is so individual. It really is a really interesting listen, and I would recommend to any of our readers that are maybe checking this out, that read the main community regularly, to go listen to the record and come down to Gorilla, because it translates so beautifully live as well. I'm super excited for kind of the 25th, and obviously the support, cheering the best boys that's going to be a wicked tour, right?
They're amazing. It's like we played with Lucia like a very, very long time ago, and it's been amazing to see her grow. Like, it was when she was kind of more of a solo act or whatever, and now like just that band, we love them, and they're like a total gang, and it's going to be so fun to be on the road with them. But it's like an honor to be playing with them, because it's like we've kind of been friends for a few years now, and like it's really nice that we can finally actually tour together and stuff. So really excited. They're just an amazing group, amazing tracks, and just really good friends.
I got a chance to catch them supporting Wolf Alice at the Apollo on Thursday, and it was
sweet,
so wonderful. I was doing my research for kind of this interview and the show and everything, and it's super, super nice. They're going to absolutely kill it. It'll be really good to have them warm up the crowd for you on the whole.
And it's like they've got that kind of live grit, but then it's also this anthemic quality as well. Like amazing. I think it's going to be the perfect support, and just looking forward to hanging out with them as well.
Amazing. I mean, kind of, we've covered so far that the album's awesome. It's going to translate beautifully live. The tour seems super exciting on all fronts. Maybe kind of what's next for Dreamwife, if we can discuss that a little bit once we've killed this tour.
I mean, it's like really we want to put another record out. It's kind of finalizing writing and going into the next stage of the recording process, really. But we've been really hands-on in the demoing process so far, and I think we have a really like strong idea of how we want the sound on the next record to be, and to be a real kind of like love letter to the live show that we've missed so much. And I think it's probably going to be getting back to that in a sonic sense, and just we've been writing songs that like we can't wait to play live, and I think that's been like the core and the root of like this most recent writing session. Really, it's about kind of getting back to our soul as a live band, and how can we manifest that on a record, and what do we want to take out for the next like year, whatever, touring. So I think it's been predominantly on honing in on like what's so great about being in a live band, and that communal sharing in the musical experience together at a gig. Definitely in that vein. But more to come on that, but we're in the process.
100%. I mean, it sounds super exciting. From personal experience, I always think the most energetic, the most exciting bands are the ones that come at it with the live aspect. Is that usually how you guys write your records? You have a super clear idea of what you're aiming for?
I mean, it was certainly on the first record, it was, as I said before, a lot of the songs we'd kind of tried and tested at live shows, and that informed the way that the record did manifest. But I think with the second record, working with Marta, it was like this thing where it was this really safe space in the studio, and I think we were able to like create a more expansive sound that we'd never really felt comfortable or in a position to be able to kind of articulate in the studio. And I think probably going forward to this next record, in the process, it's kind of getting back to the live. So it's kind of like we almost went down the synth path of the second record, and now we're just back to like guitars, grit, live energy. Like, it feels important to get back to that, because that's what we've just missed so much, and I think that is the beating heart of this band. So it's certainly kind of going back more to the place maybe we were at sonically with album one or like the first EP, but obviously this record hasn't been recorded yet, so more to come.
It's all in the works, it's all on the way, but that is super exciting. I kind of wanted to talk about some of the bands on the scene as well before we finish, because I know it's super exciting, things are coming back out. Maybe some of the people that obviously you're releasing this new record, that means a tour maybe potentially in the future after you've recorded this. Is there anyone particularly that you'd like to play with in the future? Any super exciting people that maybe you've looked up to when you've been thinking about your new sounds, or even the new tour, to bring it back to kind of the Manchester date? Who do you look at and you're like, when we play live, that's the kind of energy we want to bring?
Well, I mean, it's like for us, it's always been like the yeah, yeah, yeahs or something. It's that kind of like really making it fucking spark off live, but with like minimal parts. And I think it's like, that's always been super exciting to us. But I think one thing, obviously, with this upcoming tour that we've done is the call out for tour support. I think that's something that we want to take through into future tours. It's so important, I think, for us to have this like direct communication with, people, us reaching out to people, and like this kind of back and forth with, artists that maybe, I don't know, it's like bridging the gaps. It's like creating a community. And I think us doing the call outs for tour supports, it's been super important to see like, wow, there's so much talent out there, and like we can directly engage with this conversation and with these acts. And I think going forward, it's like, obviously we have done it with this upcoming tour, but I think we would want to do that again. It feels really important to do it that way and have that back and forth directly with the supports.
Yeah, I mean, it's super inspiring, and I know lots of bands that look up to you, especially with female members around me in the Manchester scene, that think you're really, really exciting. I think a question that bands don't get asked too often that I wanted to bring up is, I know that lots of bands get asked who their inspirations are, but who would you love for your band to inspire that's coming up at the moment? Is there anyone particularly that you're like, if I had any hand in making them pick up a guitar, I'd be over the moon?
Oh, that's a tricky question. I mean, it's kind of like, even just receiving all the submissions for the tour supports this time round, literally every single submission, the fact that it's like this act that wants to play with us, that in itself is inspiring. And it's like, everyone's like left a little message like, we just want to play. It's like, it's inspiring in itself to even be in a position where like you can use your platform to support other artists. And I think, honestly, that is in itself inspiring. And going forward with doing call out for tour supports in the future, I think that's all obviously down the right track. Sorry, I just got a message.
That's all right, no worries at all. That's super brilliant, and I really, really appreciate that. Just before we kind of wrap up the interview, is there anything else that you wanted to mention? Anything else that you maybe wanted to shout out from the records or anything like that at all?
I mean, just come down and let's experience this record live together. Like, this is the first time it's happened. It's been long awaited for us, so I think it's just going to be kind of euphoric. So come and join the fun, and let's make the most of the fact we can enjoy live music together right now.
Brilliant. If you're local to Manchester, the show's at Gorilla on March 25th, and there's a few tickets left, so get on them quickly. But I will see you then. Thank you ever so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks so much, Reece. I love your earrings, by the way.
Thank you.